Going on, YouTube people? Northeast Ohio Sports Cards here for the week that was in this wonderful hobby that we have all chosen to spend time in. Today, gonna hit all three sports: baseball, football, basketball. Kind of a lot going on this time of year. You got post Super Bowl dips, mid-season NBA malaise, and beginnings of the ramp up to baseball season. So, whole lot of stuff happening. YouTube stuff down below. You guys know the drill by now. Click the like button, sub, leave a comment, got a question, whatever, throw it down there. We will be spending a majority of the video inside Market Movers, the tool set that I choose to use for all these wondrous charts and graphs that give us all this great information. The links to that are down below as well, with a 20% off discount code. And I have also included just a generic Amazon affiliate link. Prior to this, I used to link to specific products, but I figured, you know what? I'll just throw a link down there. If you guys want to buy something on Amazon, use the link. If you don't, cool. I don't care. Nice if you do. Helps out a little bit, you know. Helps me upgrade some equipment and stuff, but it's whatever. It's there. Let's get into it. Just before we get into individual cards and stuff, just some general things I would like to discuss. I am not going to do a deep dive on it because it's been covered to death already. The eBay card selling report came out. I encourage you all to go look at that. You can find it online very easily, just doing a quick search if you haven't seen it already. It's interesting. It's basically shows what pretty much we all know, that the sports card hobby is going absolutely crazy. The surprise, I guess it's not that surprising, is that Pokemon was like the number one rated or number one selling card base out of everything. I think maybe it was number two, but it was way up there. So the Pikachus are popular, and that kind of leads into my next thing. I know I've been doing the Marvel stuff on the channel the last 2 weeks as that market has taken off, and basically the whole trading card world right now is just ablaze. And it's literally like a fire, because it just burns through one thing and then just moves on to the next thing and just consumes it and moves on to the next thing. And as sports card investors, we should really be paying attention to it. Whether you like whatever it is that they're talking about, so whether it's Marvel or Magic the Gathering or Pokemon or whatever, just from my initial dabbles in the Marvel stuff, if you're just in it for the money and you educate yourself and you could do it quickly, you can do pretty good with this stuff. We have a major advantage coming at it from the way that we look at things, because we understand the intricacies of the sports card market, at least in theory. We understand how grading works. We understand the grading process, the ins and outs, the risks, the rewards. And a lot of these markets have been untouched or lightly touched from that perspective. Pokemon and Magic the Gathering more so. But a lot of these trading card markets like Marvel and now, you know, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Superman and the DC stuff, and, you know, it's seeping into other stuff, Nintendo cards, G.I. Joe card, like you name it. The card investing angle is chewing into all of it. And like I said, as I dabbled in this Marvel stuff and joined some of the Marvel Facebook groups and all that stuff, and some of them I was in already because I liked Marvel stuff to begin with. I side collect comic books, not many. And I have a lot of the Marvel cards from when I was a kid because I collected them hardcore. The misconceptions out there about how easy it is to get a PSA 10, what's involved with card grading, how does it work, the steps, the processes, etc. We, coming from the sports card industry, market, whatever, have a major step up on that stuff. Now, you're behind the A game when it comes to product knowledge, and you need to educate yourself if it's not something that you're already in. So like if you dove into Marvel cards, you should be out there consuming YouTube information and reading and spending time in Facebook groups and whatever. You need to do it quickly because these markets move extremely fast. If you've watched any of the Marvel videos, you've noticed that. And I'm going to keep using that as an example because that's the one that's popped off most recently and what I've been paying attention to most recently. But if you take nothing else away from this video, we're going to talk about the individual cards here in a second. If there's something, and not everyone's in the same age bracket, but I'm almost 40. If there's something, whatever age you are from your childhood, that you collected, whatever, ripped packs, and maybe it's not even sport, maybe it's not even cards. Maybe you collected Nintendo Powers, maybe you collected Sports Illustrateds, whatever, video games. Take whatever that was from your childhood. Some of you might still be in your childhood based off YouTube demographics. Most of you people are around the same age as me, give or take. And find something from that time of your life and see if you could two-prong approach it. You get into it, you enjoy it, it brings back good memories, it's fun, and you can also make money on it. So you could do both. You could do some PC and some investing / flipping / whatever you want to call it. The one thing that all this Marvel nonsense has done is, to steal a phrase from a popular Netflix show, spark joy is the best way I could describe it. It has been a wonderful breath of fresh air and change of pace from the grind of the sports card world, regardless of sport that you're talking about. And it's really breathed new life into me when it comes to the card collecting hobby as a whole, regardless of what medium you choose to collect. And there's something, I predict, my guess is there's something out there for all of you that is beyond sports cards in this trading card market. Go out there, look for it, find it, educate yourself, and maybe you'll find the same thing. Maybe it's the Marvel stuff. I've seen lots of comments about people saying, oh man, I remember these cards as a kid. This is great. This is so much fun digging through these old binders and like we're having all these memories rush back about, running to the store, whatever. That's my recommendation for you. You can stop watching the video if you want, but take that little piece away from it. And maybe sports cards is that for you. Maybe there's something else out there. Maybe you really liked Castlevania as a kid. Is there Castlevania cards out there? Something, because odds are whatever it is, if it hasn't gotten there yet, the market's going to move there and it's going to take off, especially if it's anything in pop culture. So take a look at it. Take, 3% of your profits and go buy a junk wax box of Desert Storm cards or something, because maybe you were really into the military as a kid. I don't know. I'm just saying there's something out there. I recently bought, and I showed this on the stream that I did on Saturday, a box of the G.I. Joe Impel cards that I collected as a kid. The funny part is I got them for $30, and then immediately after they shot up, they're like $100 a box now. Once again, it just shows that the market just moves to everything. And that's the other thing. The people in these groups for these markets that have never, like the Marvel cards, have never seen this before. They're not understanding how quick this stuff moves and how the PSA 10 drives prices on everything and how it trickles down to everything else. So that is my advice to you this week. With that very long-winded opening, let's get into some actual card stuff. Another quick thing. I promise this one's sports card related. I checked out local card show on Saturday, Hartville, Ohio. Typically a very small show. Usually it's meh at best. I didn't actually buy anything, but I have to say this month compared to previous months, I thought was a major step up. The quality and quantity of stuff at tables was really good, I thought. I have never really seen a lot of Jordan and like LeBron rookies at this thing, and there was plenty of 86 Jordans of different grades. I don't know if there was any PSA 10s, but there was other grades. There was LeBron Topps Chromes. Like I've never usually seen high-end stuff there. This is like one of those ones where they kind of set up once a month in the flea market. You know, but I was impressed. A lot of good stuff. And there was a bleed in for sure of non-sports cards. There was people selling packs of old school WWF and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle cards. There was a guy set up that had 90 Marvel Universe singles. I heard people over, just walking through talking about, hey, are you buying Marvel cards? Yeah, let me see what you got. So this stuff's bleeding out into our world, whether we like it or not. So even if you don't like the IP, still money to be made. All right, let's talk some sports. Baseball, and I'll try to go quickly through this because we were running very long already due to my nice little soapbox. Baseball. The young hot guys, after taking a cooling off period and flattening out, are spiking back up again. Acuna, Tatis, Soto, the three big ones, had big rises at the end of December, early January, kind of flattened off for a little bit, slowly trending up, but not like crazy spikes. This week, they spiked again. Acuna, PSA 10, tops Chrome. Not his super sought after rookie, that's the bat down, but this is kind of like his primary one that common folk can afford. Has really shot up a lot. But the last 7 days, it's up 23%, up $41. Started at 175, up to 215. And this card's really gone up a lot since the fall. This was like a $100 card at the end of last season. And it has been slowly climbing. And it keeps taking these random big spikes. This week, it took a pretty big spike up. We're going to see the similar trend. Once again, Soto, same story. Right after Christmas, shot up, kind of flattened off for a little bit and just kind of hung out at his new level. And now he's spiked up again. His PSA 10 tops Chrome up 15% and his paper up 23%. His tops Chrome's up to $500 and his paper's up to $400. So we could see that the paper is now making gains on the Chrome. I made that video earlier this week talking about paper versus Chrome. And I see another spike from the Chrome coming. I think the Chrome's going to stay pretty far ahead of the paper, which it already is at $100, but I see these continuing to go up. Soto is going to be one of the most trendiest players in baseball next to Tatis. I did not pull Tatis charts. He's not up as much, but he is creeping up as well. Mookie Betts, another one that made a pretty big move this week, up 20%, up over $1,100. Started the week at $900, ends the week at $1,100. And not all baseball is going crazy yet, but it is definitely starting to bleed in. If you are a baseball buyer, now's the time to pull the trigger if you haven't already. Ideally, you probably should have already. But there's still some deals to be had out there. But yeah, don't wait much longer because your time is running short. We are already in the mid-February now, and the spring training hype has already started. Football. Let's get into the good and the bad. The bad, Mahomes down, not surprising. He lost. This is the most expected thing ever. Would probably have came down. Hell, he went down last year after he won. So his Optic PSA 10 down 20%. I'm just going to say it now, guys. At some point in time, there's going to be a major buying opportunity on this card. I don't know when, but I'm going to be closely tracking the price of his Optic 10 and PSA 9. And if it gets to a certain point, I am going to pull the trigger. I don't know what that point is yet, but I will be keeping very close eyes on this card. The same exact thing happened last year after he won. And if I run these charts back a full year, and you look at what they were selling for after the Super Bowl last year compared to now, you made a crap ton of money. And I see the exact same thing happening again. This card's going to go down. It's going to settle in. I'm going to keep an eye on it. And when I see that it levels off, I am going to look to make buys. I saw a PSA 9 at the show today, but the guy wanted a little bit more for it than what I thought that it was currently worth on the present day market. He was kind of priced like pre-Super Bowl prices. But yeah, keep an eye on Mahomes. To me, he is the one NFL player I would want to invest in from a long-term perspective. I am not big on investing in NFL cards other than quick flips, but Mahomes is the one I would be looking for. His Prism PSA 10, which is a silver because that's the only way it was made, is down 20% as well, which 20% on this card is almost $3,000. Very tough grade, very low pop count. Pretty much the pride and joy of any Mahomes collector. The one that you want, less than 1,000 of them exist in PSA 10. There is notorious printing issues with this card that makes the population count even lower than what it would normally be for a silver prism. But this one's taken a beating as well. For you high rollers that may watch the channel, same rules apply. Keep an eye on this card. At some point in time, it's going to bottom out, and there is going to be a buying opportunity on it. I expect it to keep dipping and then eventually flatten and kind of hang there for at least a couple weeks before they spike back up again, but I could be wrong. Football is weirdly, I've been trying to keep an eye on the football market. I would like to make some buys, but stuff's not coming down like I thought it was going to, other than Mahomes. I have a list of players that I'm semi-interested in, and I'm going to be doing a video on football probably shortly here. But while everyone's focused on baseball and panicking about the modern NFL or modern NBA markets, keep an eye on football stuff if there's someone that you like. Like I said, I'm waiting to see if prices dip as we move closer to baseball and money kind of shifts that way. But there's some definitely players I would like to buy and just kind of sit on and then sell before next season starts. I always like that strategy when it comes to football. So, but yeah, the other one that had a big week post Super Bowl, Gronk. I could talk about, I didn't pull any Brady stuff, like duh, his prices went nuts, but this Gronk one is crazy. He started the week at 475, ends the week at 802, up 69%. And this is on his 2010 tops. One of his primary rookie cards. There's a couple different ones floating around, but this one's kind of the one that's viewed as the true rookie. Only 400 of these exist in a PSA 10, extremely low. So it doesn't take much to move this chart, and his definitely moved. 28 of them sold in the last week. So Gronk way up. All right, let's shift into basketball. So as we've been talking, modern NBA is down quite a bit lately. I'm just reorganizing my charts here very quickly. And I was very curious this week how things were going to shake out. Biggest reason why most of the big modern guys, and when I say big, I'm talking Zion, Ja, Trey, and Luka. The big four, if you will, from the last 2 years, have been playing extremely well the last week. Both their teams and them. And I was curious how that was going to reflect into their prices. You know, Zion's been putting up huge numbers this entire time, and his cards keep going down. Ja, since his injury, has been playing very well. The Grizzlies continue to be frisky. They are probably going to make at least a play-in. Luka, the Mavericks, they have their issues, but his stat lines have been just monstrous, and same with Trey. The Hawks have actually been winning here and there, and he's been putting up huge stat lines. So I was very curious this week how those four in particular performed over the last 7 days, given what's been going on. So we're going to talk about those four in a second. Real quick before we do, there's two other players that I want to quickly touch on that had big price movements up this week. One is not super surprising given what's going on in the vintage world, but I was surprised by how much. 96 Kobe Bryant tops, PSA 10. There's about 3,000 of these, a little bit less than that. This thing has been going insane and went even more nuts this week. This started the week off at $6,000 and ends the week at $10,000, a 60% jump for a $3,700 price swing on this card. And it was basically every day. It was almost jumping 500 to $700 over the course of this week. Like, this is wild. This card has really gotten up there now for just a straight tops base. A little crazy. So yeah, his stuff shot way up. On the modern side of things, Donovan Mitchell has finally starting to get the love, if you will, that the hobby likes to throw at him, but no one likes to spend money on him. His PSA 10 is up 24% on the week, $100 swing almost, up from 370 to 462. And this is still in the mid upward swing. I think this is going to keep going for a hot minute. The Jazz look like one of the best teams in the Western Conference. Whether they can make the NBA finals or not, I don't know. But they're poised to make a deep playoff run at minimum, assuming they can stay healthy. And depending on the trade deadline and all that, there's a long way to go into the season. But as of right now, they were playing great. And Mitchell has really been coming on lately. He started the season kind of slow, but he's kind of kicked it in this last week or so, basically since Mike Conley got hurt. He's been playing a lot better. Mitchell has been, and Conley's been fantastic this year. He's a big reason why they are loaded right now. But his stuff continues to soar upwards, and I think it's going to keep going. I don't know where the ceiling is on that card, but I will be curious to track it. Luka. All right, let's talk about the big four. Luka PSA 10 on the week is down 5%, so $75 down to $13.30. We've talked about this card a bunch. Once again, at shows, there's been reports of this going for $1,100 cash, which is not a small chunk of change, but it's a small number when you're talking about Luka-based prisms. I keep saying I am long on Luka, and I'm not afraid of this dip. And at some point in time, people are going to buy in, and they're going to make a mint on this thing. I just don't know when it is. It keeps trending down. And maybe this just isn't the year. Maybe you just let this thing keep slowly sliding. Because here's the thing. The Mavericks, they definitely don't have enough for a deep playoff run. For sure. Unless they make some crazy trade, and I just don't know where it's coming from because they already traded all their picks for the Zinger. So I think this team's a year away at best because they have tons of cap space next year. Now, who they go get is a different story because it's a bad free agent class. But I think this might be this year, this season, if you will, is going to be the year that you could probably get Luka at the cheapest prices he's ever been pre-bubble, pre-pandemic. And next season, if they reshape the team in the offseason and then they come out like gangbusters, his stuff's going to go crazy. It could go crazy in the offseason just based off moves. You know, they go after Victor Oladipo or something like that, or make a trade, whatever. They bring in a big name to pair with him. I don't know who that name would be, but anyone at all. And it would spike his stuff up. Look what happened to Trae Young last year. You know, the Hawks rebuilt the team, brought in Gallo and Bojan, and, you know, got Clint Capella back and all this stuff and that, and Rondo, and Chris Dunn, and a lot of guys that really haven't even done much for them yet this year. Most of the reason they're as good as they are is because DeAndre Hunter made a leap. But just based off the spec of that news in the NBA offseason this past fall, due to the pandemic, Trae Young's prices went through the roof just on the spec. And I can see the same thing happening with Luka. There's no way the Mavs are going to sit idle when they have that much cap space. They are going to make moves. So maybe the approach you take with Luka is you just sit back, see where this thing settles out. But at some point in time, there's going to be a buying opportunity on him. And if you're willing to hold it for 6 months to a year at minimum, you could quick flip him at the beginning of next season for most likely well more than $1,200 to $1,300, assuming the whole world doesn't end between now and then. Let's talk about Trae before we get to Zion and Ja. We'll save them for last. Trae Young, PSA 10, down 6%. Another $33, down to $450 now on his PSA 10 Prism. This is mind blowing to me that this is this low right now. And this is coming from someone, I don't know if a lot of you guys remember, before the season started, when he saw his big price hike, I made a video that said you should probably sell some Trae Young. And there is a legit shot that this is the most expensive prices Trae Young's ever going to see this season. And even coming from someone that made that video and actually likes Trae Young, this is shocking to me that his PSA 10 Prism is this low now, all the way down to $450. This just screams buy. I just don't. I don't know if it's the population count or what, but man, this thing keeps creeping down. Once again, I just really think people are going to make a mint on this. It's hard to say like go buy this, go buy that, because you can't buy everything. Not everyone's. If you're made of money, you don't need to worry about messing around with sports cards. Um, but yeah, this just seems so cheap to trade. This seems like one of those things that like next year, before the NBA season starts in November, we're gonna be like, I remember when Trey was 450 last February, and we're all dumb because we didn't buy him, and now he's $900 or whatever, $1,000, even 750. Uh, I just see, running the charts back to, his low point back in February and March of 2021. And now look where he's at here in October of 2021. Um, this just seems so cheap. Once again, if you don't like Prism, I get it. Keep an eye on his other stuff. I mentioned his optic in the video the other day. Watch his select stuff, see if it keeps going down, and try to buy the lower population count stuff if you're not big on the Prism because of the pop counts, which I get. A lot of people aren't. And last but not least, good old Zion and Ja. For the first time in a long time, Zion went up this week. Ja's down 14%, down to 475. Basically the same price as Trey Young. We haven't seen that in a while. He's 475, Trey's 450. Like, once again, this Ja Morant price. And I can see this going up before the season ends. If they make the playoffs and they win a round or something, or he looks really good in the playoffs, that price is going to spike. So, same thing. If you're not enthralled with that card, maybe look at some of his lower population count stuff. Select, once again, optic, etc., and jump on board with that, or optic color. I'm so mad at myself. I missed the auction ending. I have the Ja purple optic, which I love, and I really want a purple shock. And the population count on those are ridiculously low. And I've been keeping an eye on it. And one went up for auction and it ended for like 450. And that is ridiculously cheap for that card. And I really wanted to bid on it. And it was one of those things where it's like, okay, that ends in 15 minutes. I'm going to keep an eye on that. And you set your phone down and you go look at something else. And then you go, oh shit. And you pull it up and it ended like 3 minutes ago. And you're like, God damn it. That was me. Not happy about that one. But yeah, Zion's up 6% on the week, up $36, up to 625. I think I am not big on Zion. I personally will not run out and buy Zion. I have sold most of my Zion well prior to this season during the off season. I have a handful of his cards. I would like to move some, but I'm going to hold at this point. I'm not going to sell at an all-time low on him. All that being said, and I'm going to say this, and I'm going to preface this by saying I am not going out to buy Zion. But if you believe in Zion, if you are a Zion truther, and you think he is the second coming, now is your time. I think this $600-ish price point is it, assuming that he doesn't get hurt or something. He's starting to get trendy. More and more people are starting to talk about him and the numbers that he's putting up. The media in general, podcasts, etc. And I see his prices starting to pull back out. I have a feeling. I don't think they're going to go nuts, but I think this $600 price point is the low. Maybe I'm wrong. And once again, I say this all as someone that is not backing this claim up with his wallet, because I personally do not believe investing in Zion. The biggest reason why is he scares me from an injury perspective, and I do think he's slightly overhyped. But he is putting up tremendous numbers. I cannot doubt that. And he is fun to watch. I also cannot doubt that. He just worries me as a long-term hold with his body type, that when it goes, it's going to go fast. And I just don't want to mess with that. There's other players I would rather put money into. Once again, it's not an endless wallet to go buy stuff. You have to make choices. And I choose not to go here, to put my money into Ja, to put my money into Luka, into Tatum, etc. So, but I think this is your last chance to get in at this price point. I think it's only up from here. Maybe not big jumps, but I think he starts creeping up from here. So that's all I have for you guys today. Sorry for the little different video with the little soapboxy thing at the front end. But I just really wanted to kind of talk about that. And this felt like the best place to do it. Um, it's just been refreshing to kind of sidestep sports cards for just a little bit, to do both at the same time. I'm not spending any less time on sports cards with the Marvel stuff. If anything, it's put more work on me because I'm still making the same amount of sports card videos in a week. I know that it doesn't seem like it all the time, because usually I was posting every other day. And now in the days that I'm not posting sports card stuff, I'm sneaking a Marvel video in, or non-sports card video, if you will. And I'm going to keep doing that because I like it. And there's money to be made there, and it's fun. So it's like the best of all worlds. And there's also interesting things you can learn from that market, because it's an emerging market and it's all just hitting all at the same time. And it's just interesting to see how that plays out in real time, and kind of just make mental notes for the next time this happens somewhere else. Um, you kind of know what to expect a little bit more, as best as you can anyway. So anyway, like, comment, sub, YouTube nonsense down below. Little sneak peek at videos for this week. Monday is going to be, I know you guys aren't going to like this, a Marvel video. Just kidding. Most of you guys pretty much liked Marvel videos. I'm going to do a Marvel market video update. It's been a while since I just kind of talked about the state of where we're at. We're seeing the normal thing where prices spike up, there's a slight pullback, and then a re-level off. And I just want to kind of talk about some of that stuff, where PSA 10 prices are sitting. There's also going to be another PSA submission video. I ripped the box of Marvel 90 MU, so I need to figure out what's going in the PSA for that. Also going to be a recap from that 90s box of Marvel that I ripped, going over how many gradable cards I got out of it, etc., etc. And then I am also on the list is a football video about what players I'm kind of watching for prices to move on, to maybe get into a buying point on. My plan with football is essentially to buy now-ish, sit on it, and then sell it all in August. I do not want to carry football in the season other than maybe Mahomes. So that's on the list. And then, as you guys know, the random news stuff. I know I've been putting out a lot more videos than normal lately. A lot of that's been the Marvel stuff, but there's also been newsy things happening. I wasn't planning on making the BGS video when they rolled out their price hikes, but it happened. What was the other thing last week? Oh, the select coming to retail thing came out of nowhere. And, when someone said the other day in one of my comments, and I laughed, boy, when you post in the afternoon, it scares me, because I've gotten in this habit of putting the videos up at around 9 a.m. Eastern time. And then if something happens on the fly, I record it and put it out when I get home from work. So they were scared anytime they got a notification from a video in the afternoon, because it usually meant something happened. I'm going to try to stick to the 9 a.m. cadence. Every once in a while, I'll drop videos in the afternoon. And I have been doing slightly more live streams lately, so content coming out of me is a little bit up. Sorry if that annoys you, but all right, that's all I got for you guys now. We will catch you guys on the next one, most likely Monday afternoon / early evening, for a Marvel market video update. Say that 3 times fast, and we'll see you then. Peace.